Hey guys, it's Irene's Braids and I am back with another video. Today's video is going to be on small knotless with curly ends add-on. We decided to use some Freetress beach curl hair in length 12 inch because she wants to go for more of a mid-back / waist length. So we didn't want to go with curls that were too long. We went ahead and pre-sectioned her hair out into 4 individual parts, and I am using pieces this small to start off my braids. So I'm going to grab about 4 pieces like so, and these 4 pieces will be braided into my first knotless braid. So I'm going to start off by sectioning her natural hair into 3 sections, and as I separate them to 3 sections, I'm going to take one piece of that small extension braiding hair and place it in between my index and thumb finger, and I'm going to intertwine that in about 3 to 4 times before adding in my second piece. And I'm going to break that down between 3 to 4 times, and I will end it by adding in my third piece. And I will continue to do that until I add in my fourth piece of extension braiding hair. So as I braid these in, I'm going for more of a natural look. I don't want the braids to be too thick because her hair is already full. So we want to use as less hair as possible. That way her braids aren't heavy. So this extension braiding hair that we're using is Expressions in the color 1B, and the length that we brought for her braiding hair was 42 inches. So the curly hair that we're using for the curls, that is color 1B as well, 12 inches, and we only purchased 2 packs. We did use both packs of the beach curl curly hair, but we only use a little bit out of the second pack. So if you pull pretty thinly as you're pulling out those curly pieces, as I did for the extension braiding hair, you won't have to use a lot of hair. So to make the hair blend naturally, you want to pull thinly when you're adding in the curls. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So with this Freetress beach curl hair, it can tangle because this is synthetic hair. However, I'm going to show you which products to use. That way you can keep up with the curls. Being that these are only going to be braided into the braids and they'll only end off with this curl, you're able to manage the curls more effortlessly. So she will be wearing this style for about 2 months, and these curls can last up to 2 months with the proper care and maintenance. So what I did here is I applied a little bit of braid gel to the curl. I am placing this curl in between my index and thumb finger. So I lifted up a small piece of the braiding hair that I have already been braiding and placed it underneath between my index and thumb finger and that left corner. And I'm going to braid that in. I want to make sure that the curly hair is going to be placed nicely in between those cracks where my 3 pieces are, right here like that. And I'm going to make sure when I braid it in that I braid it in very tight, but I want it to be secure so it doesn't fall out. So you want to make it look something like this. So I did braid it down just a few more steps of the braiding hair. And then now I'm going to stop and add in the curly hair. Braid down as long as you need to for the length that you're going for. I am going for more of a mid-back / waist length, not too long because she is in high school and we want it to be age appropriate. So when you're braiding this in, you want to braid enough to where the braiding hair ends. You're not braiding all the way to the tip of the curly hair. You're just going to braid past the braiding hair. As you can see, there are little spiky pieces of the braiding hair coming out. Well, that just means I need to snip that off. That's where the braiding hair is. So you're going to just braid down enough to where you want your curly ends to stop at. So if you're going for a more shorter look, add your curls in a little higher up. If you're going for a longer braided style, add your curls in lower. So that way you can control your length. And as I stated before, make sure you're braiding past the braiding hair. That way there are no pieces ending or sticking out, and your braid will look very seamless. You should not be able to tell that you added in hair. There should not be any bubbles. There should not be any, pieces of hair sticking out to where it shows that you added in extra hair. So definitely make sure that you use scissors and snip off any pieces that are flyaways or any pieces that don't make it seem like you have a finished look. So this, my friends, is how it should look once all of the curly pieces have been added. It should look very natural. Don't add too thick of a curl, otherwise you'll get very lumpy braids. You want to add the curls in very thin pieces. And look how clean and pretty my braids are. Aren't these so pretty, you guys? Make sure you drop some comments in the comment section. Let me know how neat and clean you think my braids are, and if you're liking this content so far. So far we have about 5 rows of braids braided from neck to neck. Now we're going to start off by braiding ear to ear, and this is where I like to call it my U-shaped parting, because I feel as though this type of pattern allows your braids to have more of a fuller look. So if you are the type of client that likes full braids, you should definitely try this pattern and let me know how it worked for you. So I'm going to braid in the U-shaped pattern as I continue on braiding going forward, because this will allow the braids to get a more clean look, but then also a more fuller look. So I do like to take a little bit of braid gel and apply that on her scalp so that way it cleans up those braids. If you have had trouble with parting and you feel like your parting is not always as clean, definitely try using a braid gel. The braid gel I'm using today is, what is this? It's not Eben. This one is I think it's Braid Extreme. It's the one in the white container, and it has the orange product. I can't think of the name, but let me get the name for you guys. I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so this is the braid gel. I guess it's just called Braid Gel Extreme Hold. I'm not sure what the brand is, but that's the one that I use. This braid gel can turn white. I hear clients leave me feedback on my other YouTube videos where they said the gel turned the hair white. And the reason being is because certain gels react differently on certain clients' hair. And yes, this one can turn certain clients' scalps white, but it's an easy fix. Just take a little bit of braid gel, oil, and go down their scalp with it. And then you can use oil sheen. And then I use a Nairobi foam. I use that also. So it will clear that white residue right on up. And then when they take their braids down, they may feel like their hair has more of a sticky feel to it. I recommend taking a spray bottle when you're taking your hair down. Spritz your braids with water first, then take them down, and then as you detangle, apply water in the spray bottle to your hair and detangle like that. You always want to wet your hair first before you detangle, and always start at the bottom and work your way up. And then once you get to that build up where the braid gel was, you want to take the palms of your fingers and then lightly detangle that way. Don't use a comb. Detangle. When you have braids in and you're taking your braids out, you want to wet it and then use the tips of your fingers, like the palms of your fingers, and detangle the product out that way. Okay. And then if you have any other recommendations that you would like to leave, drop some recommendations in the comment section so that way others can see how you take your braids out when you're dealing with a product like this one and any type of product buildup. So yeah, the braids are turning out nicely. We're still adding in more pieces of curly hair. So far we have a total of 7 rows so far. And I'm going to continue to U-shape those partings as I continue to go. And I also like to use a little bit of braid gel as I'm braiding in my curly pieces. It just allows me to keep that consistency of the braid and make sure that my braid is always uniformed. So I like adding a little bit of product to the tip of my fingers because I feel like it really gives it a more finished look. So this is how the braids are looking so far and how her ends are looking. The braids are just so pretty. So we have completed a total of 12 rows. This is 12 rows, you guys. So now what I'm going to do is I want to finish off my last 4 rows where she can part it any way she may see fit. So it could be a middle part or a side part. She prefers to wear a side part. So I'm going to still give her a middle part as well. So this is how I complete my 4 rows. So I start off by parting out my rows, cleaning them up with product. That way I can kind of see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go ahead and start parting out how many braids are going to be in this first row. I definitely want to make sure that I am allowing the braids to fall in between the braids below. So when you're parting out how many braids you're going to have in your row, make sure that those braids that are below it, your parting is falling pretty much within that gap. So on this particular row, we have about 4 braids that will be placed, and these braids will fall nicely in between the cracks below, so that way it continues to give off look and it allows the braids to lay nice and flat. So now I have my first braid started in this row. I am going to continue to keep adding in my curly pieces. So let's continue watching as I continue out these rows. So this is the finished look, you guys. The braids have turned out so pretty, and we enjoyed every single moment of making this content for you guys and delivering you guys something good for you to continue to watch and also learn from. If you enjoyed this video, please leave some feedback in the comment section below. And until next time, bye guys.